Look at any list of America's favorite fancy cat breeds, and you will find the Ragdoll sitting comfortably at number one. At first glance, it is easy to see why. They are massive felines, wrapped in dense, color-pointed coats that make them look like living clouds. But their looks are not what makes them fascinating. For thousands of years, cats have cultivated a very specific reputation. They are highly independent, quick to defend themselves, and generally tolerate physical affection only on their own strict terms. The Ragdoll rejects that entire historical premise. They are needy, deeply attached, and crave constant contact. How we ended up with a feline that ignores almost every standard instinct of its species is one of the strangest stories in domestic breeding. The timeline for this anomaly traces all the way back to suburban California in the 1960s. The very first litters of this new breed exhibited behavior that left people baffled. They were completely unbothered by their surroundings, and when picked up by a human, they simply went entirely limp. They showed zero typical feline defensive instincts. There was no squirming, no unsheathing of claws, and absolutely no panic. This behavior was so unnatural for a cat that rumors immediately began to spread. The public, and even some early breeders, speculated that these animals were the byproduct of covert government testing or secret laboratory experiments. The speculation quickly escalated. Trapped in mid-century space-age paranoia, some genuinely believed this unearthly calm was the result of alien genetic influence. The actual truth involves zero extraterrestrials whatsoever. It was actually the result of a highly specific, intentional human breeding program. The actual origins of the breed were grounded in a very deliberate effort to prioritize one specific behavioral trait above all others. That bizarre physical relaxation is exactly how the breed earned its name. When picked up, they go loose, dangling like an old cloth ragdoll. This creates a strange physical paradox. Inside this submissive, relaxed nervous system is a heavy, musculoskeletal structure. Over top of that sturdy frame, breeders developed a semi-long bunny coat, remarkably silky to the touch. Early breeders locked in 3 distinct variations for this coat: the standard color point, the white pod mitted, and the two-toned bicolor. All of these patterns are driven by color point genetics. This is a specific recessive mutation where the cat's physical coloration responds directly to its body temperature, leaving the cooler extremities darker than the warm torso. By combining a heavy frame, temperature-reactive silk fur, and a dormant flight response, early breeders produced the feline equivalent of a living, breathing plush toy. The 1960s breeding program focused heavily on a social objective, producing a cat that prioritized human interaction above standard feline instincts. By consistently selecting for these specific social traits generation after generation, they broke nearly every established behavioral norm we associate with cats. Instead of seeking out high, isolated perches to observe the house, ragdolls developed a compulsion to follow their owners from room to room. They also show an unusual propensity for interactive learning. Many will learn commands and actively retrieve thrown objects, carrying them back in their mouths. When they do play, it looks different. They preferred gentle, floor-based games rather than chaotic vertical jumping. This grounded style makes perfect sense given their heavy, muscular build. They simply aren't designed for mid-air acrobatics. The behavioral blueprint worked. They installed the emotional feedback loop of a loyal dog into the body of a fancy cat. Today, the results of that foundational breeding mean bringing a ragdoll into your home requires understanding exactly what these gentle giants actually need. They require a calm, stable household. Because they are so deeply bonded to humans, they demand consistent, predictable attention to thrive. Their tolerance makes them a match for families with young children, seniors looking for a constant companion, or first-time cat owners who might be intimidated by a more aggressive breed. They are also highly adaptable. Their relaxed demeanor means they typically integrate peacefully with other pets, even large dogs. And while their luxurious coat looks like a full-time job, there is a catch. Despite the sheer volume and softness of their fur, they lack a dense undercoat. Because they do not have that secondary matting layer, they are surprisingly low maintenance, usually requiring only occasional brushing to manage seasonal shedding. 60 years of selective breeding have turned a suburban anomaly into a predictable pet, a cat whose popularity stems from the fact that it acts much more like a dog.